it's Cindy Leach, your polymer clay tutor, and today, studio tip, I'm going to be comparing 3 different brands of work surfaces that you can use for working with your polymer clay and mixed media projects. Now, I've got, like I said, 3 different brands, and they all have their strengths and their weaknesses, and I'm going to just compare them for you. The first one underneath here is the Sculpey Work and Bake Clay Mat. It is 11.5 by 15.5 in size and is about $18 to $19 in the States. In Canada, it's much more. The next one is the Rangers Inkcentials Non-Stick Craft Sheet. It is much bigger. It is 15 by 18 and it is also about $18. And then the last one is a one that I got at Rings and Things, and it is just called the Fiberglass Work Surface, and it is 9.5 inches by 12 inches. It is about $5. So of the 3 brands here, it is the cheapest. They each have different things about them that I like and dislike. With the Rings and Things sheet, first of all, it's quite small, which I prefer the bigger sheets. Second of all, it's very thin. So working on it, it's kind of flimsy and it will bunch up on you. The only way I find that it works well as a work surface is if you get some Scotch tape and just tape it down to your work surface. It's got a nice smooth surface, and it is non-porous, so if you get inks and things on it, you can just easily wipe it up. Now that's also the case of all 3 of these. The Ranger one is a little bit thicker and it doesn't bunch up as easily, but just like the Rings and Things one, they're both slippery on the back, so they can slip around on you. So taping it down is also nice. It is the largest of the 3, and it is the nicest looking as far as I'm concerned. It also is the smoothest. So when you're going to roll your clay onto it, it doesn't leave any kind of texture or anything on the back side. Of these 3 different brands, it is the very smoothest. The Rings and Things one will leave a bit of a texture. It's quite fine, and the camera most likely won't pick it up, but I can see it in the right light. And it's a bit of a weave to it, coming from the fabric of the material, the fiberglass. And the Sculpey mat it's the worst, actually, as far as texture goes. It leaves behind the largest markings from the fabric. Now, it's also the most porous of the 3. As you can maybe see, hopefully the camera will pick it up, it has a lot of little stains and things on it, and this has happened from me leaving a piece of clay on it overnight, and any little pores in the mat has drawn out the oils from the clay and has left an oily stain behind. Same with some ink here. It got leaked into this part of the mat, and I was never able to remove that. The advantage I find to the Sculpey mat, though, is that it has this, it's a little bit thicker again than the other 2, and it has this grippy back on the back, so it doesn't move anywhere. So as far as bunching goes and working on it, it is the nicest of the 3. Now what else? They're all designed to handle heat, so you can use your heat gun with it if you want to, and to set to do embossing powders, to do techniques like the faux raku technique where you're going to use your heat gun a bit, or if you're drying up inks and paints and that kind of thing. They're all wonderful as far as cleanup goes. My favorite still is the Ranger non-stick craft sheet for wiping up and cleaning up, because it doesn't have the pores in it. And you may recognize it as the background now on a lot of my tutorials. It's a really nice neutral background and looks really good. What else was I going to mention? Oh yes, one last thing is you can cut on these surfaces, but be careful. Cut straight up and down and there's no issue. But if you cut through with your blade like this, like with an X-Acto knife, you're going to need to be very careful because you could cut into the surface. These aren't cutting boards. And I have made the mistake of cutting into this Sculpey mat, and it has left permanent marks on my mat. So I hope this, oh no, one more thing. So it wasn't my last thing. The nice thing I found about the Rings and Things ones, because it was so much cheaper and thin, I had no guilt about cutting it up, and I used it for a liner on the inside of my bead rack here, which means that I can put the paper on the inside to as an insulator, use the Rings and Things sheet, fiberglass sheet in there, so that if I leave some flat sheets in here that I'm not going to bake right away, I'm not worried about the oils leaching out of it, because this fiberglass doesn't absorb any of the oils, so I can leave that in there to bake quite nicely. I also used in my tenting, I would put my paper tent and then my another piece of the fiberglass over here, and that would keep and protect the paper should it be kind of close to the elements. So I think that's all that I wanted to say. So I use these 3 different brands for 3 different ways. If I had a magic wand and I could make my perfect craft mat, I would make it look like the Rangers. I would use a surface like the Rangers one, and I'd put the sticky back on it like the Sculpey one, and I'd make it cheaper like the Rings and Things one. So I hope that was helpful for you, and if you liked it, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to not miss out on any of this great stuff that you're learning. If you have any ideas of things that you want me to review, or you have problems and challenges that you would like me to help you with, then let me know in the comments, and I hope to see you next time. See you later, and bye for now.